Welcome to InfluenceSyc, where knowledge meets influence. Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain to reveal the darker, more complex side of one of history's most celebrated monarchs, Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. Her reign is often called a golden age, but behind the facade of grace, intelligence, and unwavering power lies a story of shadowy maneuvers, political games, and even murder. This isn't just the story of a glorious queen, it's the story of a survivor who ruled with brilliance, and with blood on her hands. Elizabeth's life began in a world of terror and uncertainty. Born in 1533, her very existence was a letdown for her father, King Henry VIII, who desperately wanted a son to secure his dynasty. Just 3 years later, her world shattered when her mother, Anne Boleyn, was executed on trumped-up charges of adultery and treason. From that moment, Elizabeth learned a brutal lesson: to be royal was to be in constant danger. Her childhood was a blur of suspicion and exile, under the reign of her Catholic half-sister. Queen Mary, known as Bloody Mary, Elizabeth's life hung by a thread. She was even imprisoned in the infamous Tower of London, accused of plotting against the crown. Yet, through it all, she honed her skills of survival, mastering the art of silence and strategic obedience, waiting for her moment. That moment arrived in 1558. At just 25 years old, Elizabeth ascended to the throne of a nation on its knees. England was poor, religiously divided, and surrounded by powerful enemies eager to see it fall. But Elizabeth was no damsel in distress. She was a grand master of power politics. Her most brilliant move was her refusal to marry, famously declaring she was married to her kingdom. This wasn't just a romantic ideal, it was a masterstroke of political strategy. By remaining single, she kept foreign powers guessing and prevented ambitious English noblemen from vying for control. The image of the Virgin Queen, devoted solely to her people, became her greatest propaganda tool and her most formidable shield. But while the public saw a divine, untouchable figure, behind the palace walls, secrets and scandals were beginning to fester. At the heart of these scandals was her intense and lifelong relationship with Robert Dudley, her childhood friend and master of the horse. The court buzzed with rumors that they were lovers, a dangerous whisper in a time when a queen's reputation was everything. Then, in 1560, the whispers turned into a roar. Dudley's wife, Amy Robsart, was found dead at the bottom of a flight of stairs, her neck broken. The official verdict was an accident, but few believed it. Had she taken her own life in despair? Or was it murder? Many pointed the finger at Dudley, suggesting he had cleared the way to marry the Queen. Some even dared to suggest Elizabeth herself was involved. The scandal was so toxic that marrying Dudley became impossible. It would have torn the kingdom apart. Despite this, he remained her favorite, her sweet Robin, for the rest of his life, a constant, tantalizing reminder of what might have been, and a source of endless jealousy and intrigue at court. To secure her throne, Elizabeth understood she couldn't rely on loyalty alone. She needed eyes and ears everywhere. Thus began a golden age not just of art and exploration, but of espionage. She established one of the world's first modern secret service networks, led by the calculating Sir Francis Walsingham, her spy master. Walsingham's web of agents stretched across Europe, intercepting coded letters, uncovering assassination plots, and neutralizing threats before they could even materialize. Their most significant target was Elizabeth's own cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots. As a Catholic with a strong claim to the English throne, Mary was a magnet for conspiracies. For nearly 2 decades, Elizabeth kept Mary imprisoned, a royal pawn in a deadly game. Finally, after Walsingham uncovered a definitive plot against Elizabeth's life, she was faced with an agonizing decision. She signed her cousin's death warrant. It was a move that secured her reign but is said to have haunted her conscience for the rest of her days. Was it a moment of deep regret, or the cold, calculated conclusion to a long and bloody rivalry? With Elizabeth, the line between personal feeling and political necessity was always blurred. Elizabeth's entire rule was a masterclass in political theater and manipulation. She wielded her charm and formidable intellect like weapons, keeping her powerful male counselors and foreign ambassadors in a constant state of uncertainty. She was the queen of delay tactics, of ambiguous answers, and of playing her rivals against one another. Her court was a glittering viper's nest of ambition, flattery, and deceit, yet she sat serenely at its center, controlling every move. To her supporters, she was Gloriana, a semi-divine figure leading England to greatness. To her enemies, she was a cold, calculating tyrant. The truth, as always, was somewhere in between. She built a powerful cult of personality around herself, but it was a persona crafted to mask the ruthless pragmatism required to hold onto power in a man's world. As the years wore on, the mask began to crack. In her final days, the glorious queen became a lonely old woman, surrounded by the ghosts of her past, the lovers she never had, the family she never created, and the people she had sent to their deaths. She had sacrificed personal happiness for political stability, famously refusing to even name a successor until she was on her deathbed. Those who saw her in private spoke of fits of melancholy and rage, of a woman haunted by the immense weight of her choices. The blood spilled to secure her crown had left an indelible stain on her soul. She died in 1603, and with her, the Tudor dynasty came to an end. But her legend, carefully constructed and fiercely defended, was just beginning. So, who was the real Queen Elizabeth I? She was indeed one of England's greatest monarchs, a ruler who ushered in an era of cultural flourishing and national pride. But history often prefers simple heroes. The full picture is far more complex. She was a queen forged in the fires of fear, who learned to be more ruthless and more cunning than any of her enemies. Every decision, every alliance, every execution was a calculated move in the ultimate game of survival. She was England's virgin queen, yes, but she was also the queen of secrets, a brilliant, lonely, and lethal ruler who understood that power, in its purest form, is a lonely and often dark path. If you were captivated by this journey into the shadows of history, make sure to subscribe to InfluenceSyc, where knowledge meets influence. And for those looking to inspire the next generation of thinkers, check out our exclusive children's and historical books on Payhip. They're designed to spark curiosity and wisdom for all ages. The link is right there in the description. Thank you for watching.